Genshin Impact Kins, which one or ones are you? Mondstadt Edition. You are reclusive, and you aren't a huge fan of social interaction. In terms of relationships and maintaining them, you find it to be tiring and stressful because of how much effort it takes. This doesn't mean that you dislike having these relationships, it just means that you struggle with them and get tired from keeping them afloat. You're fueled by the feeling of enlightenment and achievements from your hobbies and or profession. You also might be quite artistic. You're a secretive person, and you don't tell many people about your personal life, except with those who you trust dearly. You tend to trust those who have a similar experience to you, because you feel like they can relate to you, and vice versa. You have an outgoing and warm personality. You are also a role model for others. You complete tasks with great diligence and passion, no matter the circumstance. You always stick to the rules, and if they're broken for whatever reason, it's surely for a good reason. You probably aren't the luckiest person out there, in any way, shape or form. However, you don't let that hold you back from anything. You are strong, hardworking, optimistic, and full of passion for your interests. Because of things that you faced, no thanks to your luck, or lack thereof. You are flexible and intuitive, and think of all possible outcomes for situations. You also know that no matter what, you have people believing in you, and these people will never give up on you. You are hardworking, charismatic, and optimistic, but you have a tendency to be a bit clumsy. Despite your achievements, you are prone to feeling disillusioned and self-doubtful. You may feel inferior to somebody older than you, like an older sibling for example, because you think that that person has achieved way more than you have. On another note, you might be quite religious. If you're not, you're probably just as devoted to something else. From the outside, some people may see you as grumpy, maybe even bitter, but in fact, you are gentle, tender, and modest in nature. In the past, you have been light-hearted and happy, but something happened in your life that made you change the way you once were. You're in your rebellious phase right now. At least that's what your parents are saying. You've witnessed somebody change because of some sort of addiction, so you've grown to hate that certain thing because of that. You solve problems in your own way. In terms of your personality, you're naive and a tsundere. You're also quite cat-like, so you like things like fish and naps. You also hate swimming and storms. You hate people putting you in some sort of box. You're not somebody who's controlled by a label. You may even want to take revenge on said people. You enjoy traditional dance, and you may have a strained relationship with your family. However, you've kept traits that your family have taught you, and inside, you are a kind-hearted and reliable person. You're a fan of fantasy stories and roleplays, perhaps a little too much. In fact, you like to hide behind these personas, as it's a form of escapism for you. But deep down, you are kind and well-behaved, but also self-deprecating and insecure, and you don't take setbacks very well. You care about others, whether they're close to you or not, and you try not to dwell too much on the past. You are righteous. You take any and all responsibilities and duties with great seriousness, so much so that you tend to overwork yourself. However, because of how responsible you are well liked in your community. You're confident, charming, and popular, and you also like gossip and drama. Although you seem a bit too laid back, to the point where some people may even call you lazy, you take your work quite seriously. In fact, you're one of those people that grandparents would recommend their grandkids marry so that you can become their grandson-in-law. Despite clearly being a popular extrovert, you struggle with loneliness. In fact, you tend to playfully downplay your struggles to people should they confront you about it. However, because of this struggle, you may be the main one to initiate hangouts with your friends. You're energetic, naive, childlike, easily confused, loving and outgoing. You get into trouble a lot, and you also may like very loud things, to say the least. I mean, yeah, she's a kid. Take that as you will. Moving on. You are an intellectual. You also love naps. In terms of your work, you may come across as nonchalant and carefree, but you know how serious you are about it. And when you're serious about work, it shows. You keep a calm and composed demeanour, and when you're fond or close to somebody, you may be prone to acting a little sus. When you're around strangers, you're quite bashful and shy. You may seem distant, but as time goes on and as people get to know you, you warm up. You're responsible, mature, and cautious. To authority figures, you respect them greatly, and you observe them and try to understand their personalities. However, despite being mature, you also tend to rely on other people regarding your own decision making. You're passionate about astrology, and you know a lot about it. You're also quite intuitive, and you can most likely deduct somebody's entire personality just from knowing what their constellation is. You're prideful and a picky eater, and you're probably also bad with money. You are polite and professional and won't hesitate to help somebody in need. You set yourself high standards to ensure that yourself and everybody else is satisfied, and you're willing to go above and beyond for that. Despite these great traits, you are also inexperienced and you can be stubborn. In fact, you believe that whatever you believe is the best, regardless of any advice and thoughts from others. Because of how helpful you are though, you are prone to being taken advantage of. You are good-natured and care dearly about your family, whatever that means to you. You become protective and enraged when somebody in your family is hurt. You may not feel like you exactly fit in with your family, but you're honest and forthright. Outwardly, you're intimidating and unorthodox. You don't like having to work overtime. In fact, you're probably not very devout to your work at all. If you're at an event, you're most likely the last person to get there, and you're the first person to leave. At the same time, you are observant and intuitive, and you feel indebted to people who are warm and good to you. You're meek, but you're also compassionate and humble. You probably also have social anxiety, and you sympathise with those who are shy as well. You are supportive towards others' endeavours, probably because you're also very passionate when it comes to your aspirations and goals as well. You won't shy away from honest criticism, despite having social anxiety, proving how much your work truly means to you. You are somewhat carefree with a playful attitude, and you also have a particular interest in music. You hide your true identity from people, but in turn, you are well liked. If you're of age, you like to drink, or something of the equivalent. But no matter what it is, you probably look younger than you actually are. Despite your carefree attitude, you're wise and somewhat philosophical. Somewhere in your life, you have experienced loss. Its grief hits you and makes you prone to feeling lonely, despite your outwardly carefree attitudes. Sorry if you expected Toma to be here, but since we met him in Inazuma, he'll be included in that one, so like and comment so that I can turn this into a series, and we get to see Toma. And everybody else too, of course. I'm going to be making the Liyue version of this for next week, so if you're not already subscribed for that, feel free to. I'll see you then. Peace!